reckon writing is the hardest thing we ever teach and the most challenging skill children ever learn, if indeed they ever learn it. It amazes me that many people think of writing as somehow the less significant literacy skill. International studies always concentrate on reading. But learning to read is comparatively easy. The process is essentially receptive and reactive. Writing, on the other hand, is productive and expressive. To be a fluent writer, you need good spoken language skills, good reading skills, the ability to think clearly and organise your thoughts coherently, and ready access to a complex array of written language conventions: linguistic, syntactic, orthographic and contextual. Not to mention the physical skills required to manoeuvre a pencil around a page. Of course, within a few years, pencils and pages may be redundant. I wonder what effect that will have on our ability to write. I suspect it'll be rather a lot. This short film focuses on one of the writing sub-skills I just listed: thinking clearly and organising your thoughts coherently. I've been fascinated throughout my career in education by the idea of using pictures and diagrams to help children do this, representing their understanding in a visual form, using skeletons to show the links and memory joggers to stand for the constituent thoughts. This one was made by a Year 2 child during a project on ourselves. You can see that memory joggers can be anything: pictures, diagrams, words, abbreviations, anything that sums up a chunk of meaning and makes it memorable. By making their thinking visible in this way, children can record what they've learned for themselves and share it with other people, including the teacher, who can also use the skelly to see whether the child has got the point or not. So skeletons aren't necessarily a precursor to writing. Children can use them as a way of recording what they've learned and just leave it at that. But they do make a splendid halfway house between thinking and writing. They can act as a sort of carrier bag to bring what children have learned in history, geography or whatever to the literacy lesson. This means that the content they're going to write about is all there, done and dusted on the skeleton. All they have to do now is to turn their memory joggers into the right sort of written sentences. As Vygotsky put it, a thought is a cloud, shedding a shower of words. The skeleton books I wrote about a decade ago built on the skeleton idea, providing 6 diagrams that linked to the 6 text types primary teachers were expected to teach. I was always a bit worried about this because it was very restrictive, and most writing doesn't fit neatly into one or other text type. So I'm glad we're now moving away from these prescriptive methods of teaching writing that have characterised the last 10 years. And the beauty of skeletons is that the technique is infinitely flexible. You just have to furnish children over the years with a repertoire of skeletons: timelines, spidergrams, cycles, hierarchies, trees, fishbones, flowcharts. Then whenever there's something they need to write, you can encourage them to choose a skeleton on which to sort out their thoughts quickly in the form of memory joggers. And once they've got their thoughts into some sort of order, you demonstrate how to turn your memory joggers into sentences through shared writing. Your demonstration will of course include ways of using literate language, layout and so on to ensure that writing is appropriate for the audience and purpose. This ourselves flowchart has 4 blobs, so we've got 4 paragraphs. Let's start with the one on the right and turn the memory joggers into sentences. We'll also have to add cohesive devices to show the links between paragraphs. It is important to stay healthy. Healthy people feel good and have lots of energy. They tend to grow up fit and strong. There are 3 main things that help us stay healthy. The first thing we have to do is eat well. We need healthy foods like vegetables, fruit, meat and nuts. It is important to put a balanced meal on your plate, such as sausage, peas and mash. The second thing is to get lots of exercise. You see the general idea? Of course, it helps if you use the technique on a whole school basis so that children build up their repertoire of skeletons over time in response to the sort of learning they're ready for and their level of literacy skills. Using skeletons covers only one small part of the complex and difficult business of teaching writing, but it's an invaluable link to thinking skills and a way of integrating language, literacy and learning in a highly visual age.